What is up, everybody? This is the final video of Boom or Bust. Ooh! This is a fantasy edition, PPR format, 12-man league draft, baby. We love some fantasy football. We talk about it all the time. We chirp it in the group chats, you know. Sometimes we get a little carried away. It's a little bit of that. But, yeah, and we're here to dial it in. This is tight end edition. If you've been following along and you've made it to this one, you've watched all of these, please drop a comment and say, hey, I've suffered through all of these videos. Just let us know. But no, like on a real note, but I appreciate if y'all been watching all these. We love talking about football, and we're going to dial it in for you. So for the tight ends, we're going to only do 2 for Boomer Bust. The previous, we've been doing 3. But tight ends, y'all know how it is. It's a pretty small pickings we're talking here. Who is your bust, baby? Because we started off on bust every time. Who's your bust?
Yeah, and I told you before the pod. I was like, I think we might have the same one here. So we'll see if I'm right. But what do you make of Kyle Pitts?
Bust, baby, bust big time. Oh yeah.
Yeah, just Desmond Ridder, who's throwing to him. The Falcons.
Yeah.
You saw what he did last year. Major bust last year, and I think the trend continues.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to get the targets. I don't think he's going to get the yards. And they're just going to be feeding Bijan this year too, who's going to take away a lot of touches, maybe checking down to him. He'll get some usage. Don't get me wrong, but where he's being projected, it's just I don't think there's any sort of value there.
Yeah, I completely agree with you because there's someone going right underneath him who I love twice as more. And, yeah, I don't want to buy into first bad QB play. I don't want to buy into bad offense. I don't want to buy into bad divisions. I don't want to buy into high draft capital on a tight end. That just sounds too many negatives.
Too many negatives. All right, but my second one is that one of yours too?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So we're both in agreement on Kyle Pitts, and my second one might surprise some people. I have Travis. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, damn, boy, fighting fire.
Oh, shit. I have Mark Andrews.
Okay.
Just because I think I think you can get better picks for the round in which he's going to go into.
Yes.
And Lamar Jackson this year, I mean, everyone cries, oh, Mark Andrews, he's so good. And they try to compare him to, he's like a Walmart Travis Kelce, which, I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong. But where he's going, is he that valuable? To me, no. And that's the only reason as to why. I think if you can get him later, by all means, please do. But if you're going to draft him, higher than he should be drafted, then what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I personally like picking him up in the 4th round, but he never makes it there. That's just because I'm low on him. There's so many other people in that 2nd round, that 3rd round I'd much rather have that can fill up my roster, and I can pick tight ends later. So completely agree with you there. I really think he is a really good tight end. Nothing to take away from him, but it's just where you're being drafted at. I don't like it. All right, so we already know Pitts is a big old bust, but I got Kittle as a bust.
And I thought about him too. I was this close.
He is so streaky, and you're looking for someone who can either – Kittle, too, he never plays a full season. He's currently questionable right now, looking at the sheet. The thing with Kittle, he's going to have 1 or 2 games where he goes monster, and it's like, shit, this is the week, and of course I played him on this week. But besides that, dude, he's very mediocre as far as getting points. San Francisco likes to use him a lot as blocker because he's just freaking really good at blocking, and he's not someone who's running routes every time. Mark Andrews is someone who runs routes on majority of plays. He is not blocking at all, but Kittle is doing a lot of blocking. So where he's going at, and he's right now he's 5th tight end projected to go off the board between him and Waller. And it's like I would just much rather have other people than Kittle because I want to have someone who can maybe consistently go or give me a ceiling to where he can get up to that Mark Andrews tier. So I just don't think Kittle can do that. I think he's going to have big games, but I just don't want to sit and wait on this.
Yeah. All right, going into the boom category, my first one I have T.J. Hawkinson. I think he could be pretty good this year. And if you look at his stats, he had almost 1,000 yards last year with 129 targets in 17 games. And on those catches, he's had, I think, 10.5 yards per catch is an average, which, I mean, is pretty good. He's a touchdown threat. He only had 6 last year, but, I could see him getting a little more, but he just racks up the yards, man. He's durable. He's good. He stays healthy. And, I mean, if you take out the year he had in 2021, he only played 12 games. he was
Yeah.
on track to destroy what he did in 2020 with the Lions.
Yeah.
He had 723 yards with Detroit in 2020, and he had 612 games with Detroit the following year. And you saw what he could do last year. He was on the winning team's fantasy league last year. So I mean, there's a lot of proven stuff with TJ. You know what you're getting when you draft him, and I think he could be a better pick than maybe a Mark Andrews early or who's going number 3 for tight ends. Maybe like a Kyle Pitts. I don't know if he's number 3, but
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, look at first of all, when you look at these players and you're trying to figure out these tight ends and just any player in general in fantasy, first you look at, okay, are they a good player or not? TJ is a good player. Okay, he's a good player. Who's his QB? Kirk Cousins. What does Kirk Cousins do? He throws it. I mean, look, Justin Jefferson is going 101 or 102. He can bring people value. Okay. Then, okay, let's look at the team. Let's look at game script. Vikings are going to be behind in games. They have a shitty defense. They're going to have to throw the ball. They like throwing the ball. The running back right now is Madison, and even people are still worried about that because they're like, well, I mean, Madison might be somewhat of value because he's a bell cow now, but that's not the Vikings. The Vikings are going to chuck it, and right now TJ is the number 2 option in this committee. And Addison might come into his own at some point, but definitely think TJ is holding down the second. I think for this year, TJ is going to hold down that second position, and Kurt likes to sling it, and he's going to get his points. So I definitely think TJ is a good pick for boom candidate, and I think I could see him passing. I don't see him passing Kelsey. I could see him passing Andrews though. But I mean, I don't know. It really depends what kind of year Kansas. But yeah, I think TJ ends up passing Andrews. I could see that. So a boom that I got is my boy Waller, and I'm going to say him because. Look at Waller. Is he a good player? Yes. The biggest issue is injury. Is he going to be able to stay healthy? That I do not know. I cannot tell you that. But I can tell you this. He is the only wide receiver option, and I'm going to say wide receiver, for the Giants. No one else is there to pass. Nobody. They're going to be down in negative game script. They're going to need to throw it. And camp reports have been booming about Waller. Everyone's been talking about how good of a player he's been. They've even said, too, there's been one report where they had to pull him off the field because Daniel Jones was throwing it to him too much and not spreading the ball around. So Darren Waller has really just came into his own there in the Big Apple. The biggest question is can he be able to play games? And there's only one way to find out. If you look at the past 2 years, it doesn't look good. But if you can pick this guy up late 5th or going into the 6th round, I think that's where you scoop him up and that's where you get the value with Darren Waller. So I think he could be a machine for your team.
yeah. My last boom pick is none other than David Njoku. Right now, he's projected.
Yeah.
He's projected the number 10 tight end, and I think that's too late. I could see him maybe like a 7-8 pick. Definitely not 10 though. I think. I mean, like we've said before, it all depends on Deshaun Watson, the type of year he has. If he has a good year, then you're going to see great usage out of the Browns receiving core. But if you look at his numbers in the past, 628 yards last year, 80 targets. I mean, that's pretty good for a tight end, for a number 8, 7, 8, 9 wide receiver or tight end. But I think 10. I'm just going based off the value here. I'm not saying he's Travis Kelce level or Mark Andrews level or Hawkinson level, but I definitely don't think he's in the same categories as some of these other guys going around where he is like Pat Freiermuth or like Pat Freiermuth. They have him as number 9. I just think he's better than Pat Freiermuth. That's just my personal belief. But I think David Njoku could be.
Y'all can't tell.
yeah. I think he could be a 7-8 pick.
Okay, I like that. I think he had all the boomers were Cleveland people, except for one. Except for wide receivers. Every other fucking tier, you had Cleveland in the boom. Huh? Fucking big year for Cleveland, baby. It's a big year. Oh shit. Okay, so I do agree. I mean, I see Njoku going good, but I think there's someone better. I could see Dallas Goedert, baby. Dallas Goedert can come into his own. You can get him super late in drafts. I've seen him gone as far as 8, and you can pick him up, and he's going to give you a lot of points. He always has a good floor, and just like we've been saying throughout a lot of this different videos we've been making, Eagles are going to be playing more in the second half. Game script will be they might be behind in games now. And they're going to have to throw it. They're going to have to get active. And who are they throwing it to? It's going to be Skinny Batman. It's going to be AJ. It's going to be Goddard. And Jalen likes Goddard. He will throw it to Goddard. This is not someone who is just a blocking tight end. This is somebody he is going to sling it to. And Goddard's really good. He's one of the better. I don't know if he's better receivers just in general, but for sure tight ends, one of the best, better tight ends with yards after the catch. Besides Kelsey. Kelsey's the magician for that. But I just see where he's going at, and I like it. And the way I look at tight ends, too, just as a whole, if you don't really get one of the top two kind of tight ends, it's better to just punt the tight end unless you find some little seams in the back. Now, the only things I'm not punting tight ends if I can get Waller late 6, like I was saying. If Kelsey falls super deep in the back of the first, I'll pick him up. And then if I'm getting Dallas, I'm picking him up in the 8. But besides that, if it doesn't work out like that, I'm punting the tight end and I'm getting someone who I think can at least help, like maybe like a Gerald Everett or something. Because it's at that point, all the other tight ends are going to blend in, and Kelsey's just going to take over and other ones. So there's no point in really trying to use draft capital on another one.
Right. Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's been it.
Yeah, that is the tight ends, and that is the part 4 on this little series that we did for fantasy. So let us know if y'all like that. We're probably going to drop a little bit more some fantasy before all the drafts start to unveil here as we're coming close to it. We got our draft coming up soon, and yeah, it's going to be a good one. So y'all take care and stay safe out there.